Okay guys, welcome back to the studio, and we are making ice cream, right? So this particular ice cream is a egg-based ice cream, or which is made from a creme anglaise. Alright, so we have all of our ingredients here. We have our egg yolks. In this pot here we have our milk and our cream. Alright, so before we get to the egg yolks and the sugar, we're gonna deal with our milk and cream here now. Alright, so in this pot saucepan we have our milk and our cream. Alright, so I am going to make a French vanilla coffee ice cream. So what I will do, I actually have some French vanilla coffee here. I am going to put this into my milk and cream before I put it on the stove. Now the reason for doing this is we are going to allow the milk and the cream to steep and get the flavors from the French vanilla coffee and also our French vanilla creamer, right? And then we are actually going to strain the coffee granules out before we put it to churn. So we're actually going to just let the flavors continuously steep inside of the ice cream base. Alright? And frankly, seeing at how you're going to strain this, you could make it how strong you want. I am just going to put 2 tablespoons of the French vanilla coffee into the cream. Alright? Just going to put 2 tablespoons. It's actually going to give it a lovely color, and this French vanilla coffee is really good. Alright, so literally just going to put 2 tablespoons in it, and then to enhance the flavor I'm also going to put 1 tablespoon of this French vanilla coffee creamer. Alright, and this is actually going to add a lovely sweet taste to the ice cream as well. Alright, I'm going to add a tablespoon and probably just a half of a tablespoon. Alright, and this is going to go on the stove on a medium to low heat. Reason we put it on a medium to low heat is because we want to slowly bring out the flavors from the coffee and the coffee creamer. Alright, so we're just going to whisk this together a little bit. And we want to put this on the stove on a medium to medium low heat, which is going to allow the flavors to really blend in, and it's going to pull all of that lovely flavor from the coffee granules into the cream and the milk. Alright, so we're going to put this on the stove now, guys, on a medium to medium low heat until it comes to a boil. Alright, and then we are going to put this on the stove now, guys, and we're going to get back to our egg yolks and sugar. Alright guys, so while our milk, cream, coffee and creamer is on the stove boiling, we are now going to proceed to getting our egg yolks ready. So in our bowl we have all of our egg yolks, and we are going to add our sugar to our egg yolks now. Alright, so we're going to add our sugar directly into our egg yolks. Please be mindful to weigh your ingredients precisely, guys. Right, so we have now added in all of our sugar into our egg yolks. Alright, and what we are going to do now is we are going to whisk to combine. Alright, you want to whisk it really good to incorporate the sugar and the egg yolks, and once they are all incorporated, you start to vigorously whisk it. Alright, you want to combine the sugar and the egg yolks really good and get it nice, light and fluffy. This way it actually makes better for a lighter and a more softer ice cream. Alright, so you can even tilt your bowl and whisk it like this. Alright, so whisk it side to side. You notice it starts to get lighter in color. That is what you are looking for. What you can also do is have a spatula on hand to just scrape down the egg yolks off the side. Alright, and you can continue whisking until it gets even more lighter and more pale in color. Alright, So as you guys notice, it is getting pale, almost white, and it is really light. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to continue whisking this until it is really well combined. We are also going to check on our cream mixture on the stove. Alright, it needs to come out to a boil. Not a rolling boil, but a slight simmer boil. As you guys can see, this is getting even more lighter, which is what we are looking for. Alright, so this is done here, guys. Alright, you just want to combine your egg yolks and your sugar and make sure it is combined really good. You are not going to break down all of the sugar. That is where the hot milk comes into play to actually dissolve that sugar. So you want to set this to the side, and we are going to bring in our hot cream and milk mixture that has been steeping on the stove with the coffee and the creamer. Okay guys, so our cream has come to a nice boil, and while we were on break, I added some more coffee to my mix, guys, because I find it was not strong enough. Alright, so now we are going to proceed in what we call tempering of our egg yolks. Alright, and tempering of the egg yolks means to slowly bring your egg yolks up to the same temperature as your cream and milk mixture. So what I always do is I put my bowl on a cloth so that way it does not move, right? And I slowly mix the cream mixture into the egg yolks. So you can pour a little bit at a time, stop, and whisk it. Alright? And then you could continue pouring all of that mixture in. Alright? And what I would also do is I will just swirl it around a little bit, guys. Alright? And we are going to scrape out all of the coffee granules that are here. Alright? Remove all of the coffee granules, guys. Alright? That is actually going to enhance the flavor of your mix. Alright? So empty out all of the coffee granules. Alright? And keep that pot right there, guys. And we're just going to whisk this and combine it really well. Alright? So now you have successfully tempered your egg yolks to the same temperature as your milk and cream mixture. Alright? And you have done this without cooking any of your egg yolks in the process. Alright? So now what we can do is we can strain our coffee granules out right now, but we do not want that. We want to keep the coffee granules in there to continue impacting flavor into our creme anglaise. Alright? So what we're going to do now is we are going to pour this mixture back into our pot. Notice we have a nice rich dark color to our creme anglaise. Alright? Scrape all of that creme anglaise mix back into the pot. And what we can do at this point in time, we could just let this sit for a minute or two on its own here to continue steeping some of that flavor. Alright? Let this continue to steep some of that lovely coffee flavor. Get all of the coffee granules off the side and get it into the mix. Alright? So next step we're going to do now is we are actually going to cook our creme anglaise on the stove. Alright? So we're going to cook our creme anglaise now, guys. And as I mentioned, you want to be able to have it going in a back and forth motion. Alright? You want to keep moving your creme anglaise like this when it is on the stove cooking. Alright? So we're going to set up and get our camera ready at the stove, guys, where we will be cooking this creme anglaise, and we will be going on and off the stove, and I will constantly keep you guys up to date. Okay guys, so please forgive me the lighting quality in the kitchen is not that great, so let's work with what we have. Alright, so here we have our premix, guys. Alright, our ice cream base. As you can see, it's a lovely brown color. So we're actually going to get ready now to put this on the stove to cook. Alright, and as I mentioned, guys, you want to continuously keep moving it. As you guys can see, if we pass our finger here, it floods back into the line. Right? So what we want to do is when we pass our finger next time, we want to be able to keep that line. Alright, so let's get this on the stove and start to cook our mix. And we will be keeping you guys up to date in and between when it is ready. Okay guys, so after about 2 minutes, as you guys can see, that white film that was coating on the top of it has slowly started to disappear, guys. Alright, so that's one of the things you're also looking for. That is the air pockets that has been formed to the top. It is slowly starting to disappear, and you guys can see that rich brown mix is what you're going to be seeing alone. Alright, so we're going to continue cooking this. This has not yet started to go where we want it to. It is still runny. Alright, so let's get back to the stove. Okay guys, so it has been a further 2 minutes again, and as you can see, our mix is starting to thicken up, but we still have not gotten where we want to reach as yet. So if we pass our finger now, it clears a line, but it is still runny. This needs to get a little more thick than this, guys. Alright, so as you notice, I am taking it off and putting it back onto the heat ever so often. And while I'm stirring here, this is actually continuing to cook. Alright, so this is going to go back onto the stove for probably the next 2 minutes again, guys. A minute or 2 minutes again. And you guys are going to see a difference to how it is now. It is going to get more thick than this, and we are able to pass our finger and hold a line. Alright, but as you guys can see, this is still running. Alright, so let's get it back on the stove once again, guys. Okay guys, so we have gotten to where we want to be. As you guys can see, this is a lot more thicker. Alright, and if I pass my finger, you notice it holds the line and the liquid is not running as much as before. Alright, so this has been on the stove for approximately 5 minutes now, and as it is finished, you want to pour this out of that hot stove, out of the hot pot, one time. Now the reason for that, guys, is, oh, you guys getting a steam bath here, boy. Now the reason for that is we do not want our milk, eggs and sugar to continue cooking. Alright, we want it to stop cooking instantly, which is why we're going to take it out of this pot. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we are going to get this into a ice bath. So let's go and get this in our ice bath that has already been set it up, guys. Okay guys, so our ice bath is ready, and we're just going to place our mug into the ice bath here. Alright, yes, I know we have, right, so our mug with our creme anglaise is now in our ice bath. And what we always normally do as well, we will take a whisk and mix our creme anglaise while it is in the ice bath. This actually helps the mix to cool faster as well. Right? So basically you are mixing all of that hot liquid in the ice bath, so it is being cooled evenly. Right? So you want to leave this in the ice bath, and probably every 5 minutes you come and you whisk it, and it needs to get cool to the touch where you could, the mix literally needs to feel cold. Alright? Or it gets lukewarm, cool to the touch where we can put it into the refrigerator. Alright? So we're gonna let this cool all the way, guys. And you notice we still have our coffee granules in here. We have not yet taken them out. We are actually going to use the coffee granules to continue steeping that flavor. Alright guys, so we are not going to remove our coffee granules until we are ready to churn our ice cream. Alright, so we're going to leave this here, guys, and allow it to continue cooling before we put it into the refrigerator overnight. Okay guys, so we are back again. Our creme anglaise has been in the refrigerator overnight, and it has cooled really lovely, and it has gotten nice and thick. Alright, So we had it in our ice bath, and then we put it into the refrigerator. It has already been strained, so the coffee granules have been steeping overnight. And these are the coffee granules that we want. We already strained out the big pieces. Alright, so we are going to get our ice cream machine set up now. So as you guys can see, we have our machine, and this is our drip pan. So what happens is, after a while, the water from the ice, it melts and it drips through this hole here. So we need to put it in a pan that can catch the water. Alright, we have our canister and our dasher, we have our lid, and we have our motor. Alright, we also have our bucket with ice, and we also have our salt. Alright, so let's start setting this up. So what you want to do first is make sure and center your bucket. I'm going to put your canister there. Alright, there's a dowel on the inside here that sits in a section in the container. Alright, what you want to start to do now is you want to take a few pieces of ice. Alright, here I have some big chunks of broken ice, and you just want to put it down to the bottom of the pail to hold your canister in one position. Alright. Alright, just to hold it in place. Alright, make sure it's not lifting off as yet. Alright. Next, what you want to do is you want to put all of your mix into your canister. Alright, what you can also do is, guys, you can refrigerate your canister if you like. Alright, yes, it is going to lean on one side, that's no problem. When you put your lid on and you put your motor, it is going to centralize in the pail. Alright, so what you can do is you can refrigerate your canister overnight as well, along with your dasher. It is totally up to you. Alright, it actually helps in the chilling of the ice cream in the first few stages to have it in a cold canister. Alright. Alright. So once you get all of your mix in, next step you want to get now is center back your canister, guys, and you want to put your lid on. Alright. Make sure your lid is on really tight and it is secured. Alright, next up you want to get your motor attached to your canister. Alright, and this motor now you can actually turn it and it will fall into place, and then you want to now lock it in place on the bucket. So with that being done, now your canister actually centralizes and stays one place. So here, now, you can proceed to fill in more ice around your canister. Alright? And in the process of the filling of the ice now, in between layers of ice, you also want to sprinkle your salt. So it's going to be a layer of ice, a layer of salt, a layer of ice, a layer of salt. You can use rock salt. I'm using regular table salt. Alright. And you just want to sprinkle it evenly on top of the ice that you have here. Alright. And then you want to continue with the next layer of ice. And until we repeatedly, you want to continue repeating that process until you reach the top of your canister. Alright. So we're going to continue adding our ice, guys, and we will be back when we finish, and we will actually turn on the machine and let it start. Okay, guys, so we are just putting our last layer of salt on top of the ice. Alright, so see, now that's not a large amount of the mix we are using, the creme anglaise. We are going to bring our ice layer up to about 3/4 of the canister. If it was more mix, we are going to use ice all the way to the top. Alright? But we are just going to put ice and salt up to 3/4 of our canister. Alright? And guys, the more salt you put, the colder it is going to bring your ice. Alright? Now, we are going to turn on our machine. And my machine is simply just a plug in, and it starts to rotate. right? So as it rotates, guys, it actually sets as well. It falls into place better, and it continues like this. Alright? So our dasher is set in one place and our canister is rotating. Alright? And for you to see that, I'm going to mark a line right there, guys, and you see it continuously comes around. Alright? So this is going to be left like this for about 30 to 35 minutes, and we will be back in between while it is churning for you guys to hear the difference that it is going to sound like. And in between, guys, always keep an eye on your ice. You may have to top up your ice during the process, right? Because the metal causes friction, which causes the ice to melt, right? So you may have to top up your ice in between, and it starts to melt. Alright, guys? So this is going to continue churning, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, guys, so it has been around 20 minutes now that our mix has been churning. So we're just going to top up some ice around our canister. Alright, some of our ice has already melted. So we're just going to top up some more ice around the canister. And we're also going to top up with a layer of salt. Alright. And we are going to continue letting our ice cream churn for the next 15-20 minutes again, guys. And by that time, within that period of time, our ice cream machine is going to start to slow down. And it is actually going to get hard and be ready to come out. Alright? We're going to put a few more pieces of ice. In our canister bucket here. Alright, and that should be good, guys. We're just going to let this continue churning for up to 15-20 minutes again, and we should be good. Okay, guys, so it has been approximately 30 minutes now, and our ice cream machine is starting to slow down a bit. It still has a good way to go again, about 10 more minutes to go again, but it's starting to slow down a bit. That's because the ice cream has been churning on the inside and it is getting thick. Alright, so we don't need to top up any more ice or salt. We're good at this point in time, guys. So let's just wait out the last few minutes. Okay, guys, so our ice cream has finished churning. Alright, so we just want to take off the motor, and you notice I'm keeping my hands on top of the canister lid because we do not want any of the salt from the side of it to rush in as we are taking it out. Alright, just going to slide this across, and we're going to lift our canister out. Alright, what we want to do now is we just want to gently wipe off around the lid so that way when we take it off, no salt falls inside. Alright, we're going to take off our canister lid, and we are going to now push this to the side to bring this out here now. And as you guys can see, our ice cream has churned very soft and nice. Alright, so what we're going to do is we have our little ice cream container here. We're going to take out our dasher, and we're just going to scrape down our ice cream. Alright, we're going to scrape all of our ice cream down. Alright, and this has churned for 45 minutes, guys, and we let it over churn just a little bit. So we let it churn for 45 minutes and we let it over churn for 10 minutes. Alright, Just want to make sure we're getting all of our ice cream off of the dasher. Alright, so we set this to the side and we are now going to take out our ice cream that has churned and place it into our container. Alright, so we're going to put this into a container that is fitted for ice cream, or you can put this in any container at home. Just please remember to leave space so it can expand when it freezes. Alright, and you need to be very quick with this because as it is out of the cold, it starts to melt. Remember, this has not been in a constant cold machine. This was basically in just ice and salt. Alright, so need to get this into the container very quickly and put it into the freezer so that way it can start to solidify. Alright, so this is all of our ice cream, guys. So we're going to put this in the freezer and we're going to let it firm up. Alright, let it freeze maximum 6 to 10 hours, but 4 or as long as you can have it freezing. Alright, guys, and that is how you make your ice cream using an egg based recipe. Alright, guys, so I hope to see some egg based recipes starting very soon, guys.